asks a valid question of why more is not being done to help a lot of these brothers that are basically deeply involved in this simping activity. And the reason why is this. We can put out all the videos and content out here to help men. But the reality is this. Many of the men, I would say 60% or more of them, are unconscious simps. Salute to the Culture Connection for that term. Unconscious simps are unaware of the fact that they're simps. At some point in my life, I was an unconscious simp. And I didn't realize it until I got really back in touch with a lot of the masculine principles of my past and growing up. Fortunately for me, I've been around masculine men, and the culture itself made no sense. Because remember, we've had 50 years plus of indoctrination, pressing down on masculinity and manhood while uplifting women, raising women, body positivity movements, government empowerment programs, education, self-esteem movements, shelters, all types of things to boost women up while we try to feminize men systematically through Hollywood, to movies, to the system and the state, to preferential treatment. We've done all that in this society. So we've manufactured a society, and even especially in the Black community, that's manufactured matriarchy to control the votes and the structure, because strong men are hard to control. Intelligent men with self-esteem. So it's best to control the women and give them certain privileges above the men. That's how they took control of that society. And I remember when the brother said, Dr. T.S. Johnson said, feminism did to the Black community with slavery, with all types of Jim Crow racism couldn't do. Basically destroyed the family. And that's what happened in that community. And the women were not even oppressed by the men in that culture. So when you look at trying to help men, it's like a good friend of yours that's in love with a whore. Let me tell you something, man. You talk about mate guard. You talk about scarcity mentality. You talk about, and again, part of that is the fact that we have dealing with broken men that have been worn down by a ball-busting feminist matriarchal broad that has just destroyed his self-esteem with the death of 1,000 razor cuts or 1,000 needle pokes, and just destroyed his masculine, his manhood. His mindset is limited. This is why I talk about global travel on this channel and men traveling around the world, seeing their value, because the scarcity mindset is a part of the simping too. This dude don't even know any better. I see, videos about a guy, even like a rapper like The Game, talking about women should get $5,000 a month. These simps like Yada and all that. This matriarchal males, as tough and hardcore as they look, all tattooed up, half of these guys are just fragile little boys. Simps raised in matriarchal culture, pandering to women, kissing women, worshiping women, That's why even half of these game guys, the end game for them is pre-owned, worshiping. Imagine a man who should be focusing on building society, creating structure, art, technology, science, spends his whole day long talking about gaming women. Like pimps are something to be looked up. The degenerate men who prostitute women and get in and out of jail, having sex with men and getting their salad tossed. They're just tossing salads themselves. And these are the men that they look up to in dysfunctional culture, not strong, healthy, masculine men. So they're surrounded by these types of people, these types of archetype in a systematic culture, because the women in that community especially went for power. They want power. Feminism first, women's empowerment first. And we saw what Ice Cube, for example, with the Contract for America, the women like get kick laws, get kick feet, kick rocks. What's in it for women? So you're dealing with a man that's been worn down systematically, that has a scarcity mentality. So that's why I even introduced Ayn Rand. And whether you're atheist or not, I know Ayn Rand has a certain belief system about getting rid of the sin of altruism. Altruism, reprogramming the mind, reprogramming the mental DNA. Again, they've been crushing male self-esteem in this culture. Now they're panicking because the young men have gotten a little wise, and maybe some of them were turning a little conservative. Even though conservative was trad cons, you got to watch out for them too. That's just another plantation, which is why I think all men should register as independents to keep everybody honest, because all of them are passing policies and programs to keep men subjected to these or locked into these plantations of worshiping and serving women without even questioning whether these women are worthy and what is the value that's equal to the men's sacrifice that these women are going to bring to the table and offer men. Like, men don't deserve anything. Even some of the brothers, even salute to RIP to Charlie Kirk. He made this statement that men should be doing whatever they have to do in life to make sure that their wife never have to work again. What kind of nonsense is that? What does that woman have to do to make sure her husband is in peace for the rest of his life? That conversation they're not having. So it's the same type of simp activity on the trad con side. And most of the women aren't trad cons. They just don't want to work. And they just want to be home because they've seen feminism has failed, covert feminism and all that stuff. But getting back to the topic of men, you try to save a dude, or you try to, it's best to leave. First of all, he'll turn on you. Misplaced aggression, because remember, he's getting his balls clipped every day. He's getting stomped every day emotionally and psychologically. He has resentment. Most simps are full of resentment and hatred because they've compromised so much. Anytime when 99% of the relationships is about you serving and making somebody else's life better, and all you ever get as a reward is pre-owned box, and that's all you have to do or jump through hoops to get it as a man, your self-esteem, your self-worth, buying things, shopping, spending money just for somebody to like you. Could you imagine that life as a man? What is the life of pure degeneracy and self-loathing, and where you see yourself only as a sacrificial animal for other person's happiness? And that's what happens to those so men. So you can't really help those dudes. Those dudes have to crash and burn on their own. That's why even when you go overseas, you'll see a dude overseas fall in love with bar girls or whatever else. You can't tell him that you're going to get burned. That woman is only interested in money. She's pretending to like you, but that's the first time he had affection, real affection, because we have affection deprivation in America. Intimacy and affection. So a guy might be having sex with his wife, but there's no intimacy. She's like, just get it over, man. Hurry up. I got my show at 8 o'clock. Just stick it in. And could you please don't even ejaculate on me or in me. Just put it in your hand and go to the bathroom and wash it off or some weird shit like that. That's what guys are dealing with these situations. So guys are being sexless marriages because it's such a disrespectful situation for them to interact with that woman, because we're dealing with feminism, gynocentrism, matriarchal culture. Women can do no wrong. Men have to always be better for women that are worse and of lower quality and value. But the men that are at the top of the food chain have a choice of multiple women to have sex with. But even after they have sex with these women, they still discard them because they find out that these women themselves, that's all they had to offer was used pre-owned box. And they have no personality. They have been pampered to their whole life. They have no skills of the women 50, 60 years ago. They just don't have anything to offer. And the majority of them are leading with their sexy. So you're trying to talk that man off that cliff, off that mindset, that mentality. Again, I talk about fasting. Fasting mimics some of the very same drives and motivation as sex and the biological imperative. Controlling your instinct, controlling your appetite transitions into a lot of that stuff. But ultimately, men need to see the world, see options, see their value, have experienced the world outside of this bubble, this gynocentric bubble that reduces masculinity and manhood just to that of a disposable tampon. So you're trying to rationalize and reason with men, but you can't. You got to even be careful how you talk to some of these guys that if you know he's a simp, first he's a wife or whatever you say to him is taken to the queen, the matriarchal queen, or his wife, or who you happy wife, happy life guy. Be very careful. He will sell you out, and everything is being, because to him, your masculinity is strange. Your behavior is strange. Your freedom and your manhood and your ability to operate life on your own terms, or even to be unplugged from the system, it's weird to him. Like, I am strange to those guys. And when I see them, they don't even know I think the way I think, because I already put them in a box This is a simp egalitarian man married to a matriarchal feminist hyena female. And there's nothing you could do. He's just going to have to go through and take his lashes as a man. And hopefully, he can, sustain some semblance of a decent life. But the problem is that women over time, they can't take simps. They can't take it. It turns them off. It dries them up. When a man has just surrendered his masculinity, that's why you see these women be like 40, 50 trying to get out of marriages, because even the men that they say they want, they despise them. It's like, this guy right here, he just doesn't do it for me. I gotta get out of this stuff before I get too old. Hopefully I can get somebody with a higher level of testosterone, even though they themselves are the one who beat him down, disrespected him to the point where his manhood has been crushed, his self-esteem has been crushed, his sense of self-worth has been crushed. So that answers the question of why there's really nothing you can do other than maybe they get a hold of some content and do some self-discovery and some self-development. And I recommend fitness. I recommend fasting. I recommend some Ayn Rand. I recommend a good masculine male therapist like my brother, the kosher clinician. But once these simps are on the decline, once they see like a guy like Akish Singh or the rest of the Will Smith, you can have a conversation with those guys now. You can talk to them now because they've already been cooked, and they've lost that arrogance, and they've lost that see, because simps think they're smarter than you. They think they got the answer. They think something's wrong with you. Oh, you're just not getting any box. Oh, you just don't know what it is to have a woman in your life. Really interesting, fascinating. So it'll all turn into reverse and shame and bullshit, because to them, having even a hyena or someone breaking their balls or hyena biting at them every day, chewing them up and spitting them out and just destroying them every day mentally is better than having nothing. Can't reason with someone like that. Peace and blessings to you guys. May add some comments down below. Let me know what you think of the topic. But you got to watch them and let them run their course. And I'm quiet. Never offer people unsolicited advice in terms of the individuals around you. I talk on my channel, but people around me, unless you ask me a question, I ain't got nothing to say. Salute to you, brothers. Make sure you hit the like button. I'm out.